If life feels like it's collapsing, your job, your relationships, your health, and even who you believe you are, there's nothing wrong with you. You're just waking up. And the systems inside of you that were built for survival are crumbling. And in this video, I'm gonna walk you through why everything feels like it's falling apart is actually you rising into your power, and a 3-phase process of awakening that nobody talks about. What's really happening to your nervous system, your energy, and your emotions, and the daily energetic practice I use to anchor in my highest vibration and frequency and build a solid foundation for myself. The truth is, you're going through a soul evolution and you're shedding layers of your ego and yourself, right? And I'm gonna guide you through a frequency anchoring exercise that you can do every morning so that you wake up and your energies feel stable, your clarity returns, and that new reality that you want to create starts to land. Because the version of you that was built to fit in and belong into this matrix is dying, thank goodness. Now, just like the systems in our society, they're falling apart that were built on the matrix. The healthcare system, the education system, the traditional media, everyone's learning that it's an illusion. And if you don't know what's actually happening on an energetic and a quantum level, then you just think something's wrong. But there's nothing wrong. It's an initiation from your soul. Now, I've worked with hundreds of people over a 25-year period of time, and what most people don't understand is that things appear to look like they're falling apart. But when you ask for more, I want more money, better relationship, better health, what happens is your thoughts and your emotions and your actions start to change. And when that happens, what happens is you no longer become a vibrational match for your old reality. So then that starts to fall away. And the universe, God, unified field, whatever you want to call it, wants to bring you to your highest soul's evolution. But as long as you're in the old frequency and vibration, it can't happen. So as you're asking for more to being brought from there, you're opening the gateway, you're opening a vortex for a new vibration, and the things that are no longer aligned look like and appear that they're falling apart because that's part of your old identity, part of your old ego self that was built on the illusion, and it's very messy and painful. So this is not an easy thing. People refer to it as the dark night of the soul. It's where that illusion is falling away and you're coming more into your true self, your authentic self. So all of that human programming, I'm not enough, I'm not worthy, I don't deserve this, is all part of the matrix programming before birth. When that starts to fall away, then who are you really? And that's what is part of the awakening. As you awaken to your soul, it is the part of you that's bringing you to a higher vibration, aligned with your highest vibrational frequency. And that's what we're going to go through and how to get there. The first phase of this is the disintegration phase. It feels like loss, chaos, anxiety. But what is actually happening on an energetic level is your identity is shedding. Nothing that's connected with the ego can go to the next vibration. Your soul is retrieving, it's remembering, it's coming back to remember itself on all dimensional level, okay? So you're remembering this piece of you that was whole and bringing it back in. And your system is going through a detox, right? You're letting go of everything that's no longer aligned. The next phase is the void phase, where nothing feels like it's working. Now, this is the limbo. I see it as in between bars in gymnastics. You know, you're holding on to this one bar, you let it go, waiting for that next bar to show up. But in between, we could go through panic and fear, and then we're manifesting more of that, right? So we want to realize that we're in between those bars, and we haven't yet gone into the next phase, which is the embodiment phase. And this is where we align with our new self, with our highest vibrational frequency, another vibration frequency of ourselves. And this is part of your DNA coming online and your collapsing timeline. So let me explain how this works. So I'm not saying this is quantum physics, okay? You can look this up, but there is unlimited versions of you that exist in the quantum field. And with every yes and no, you're creating a new timeline, and your frequency can become incompatible compatible with your old timeline, with your reality of what you've been living. But one of the things that happens before that is there's a lot of fatigue. There's a loss of drive. There are psychic sensitivities of where you don't want to be around people or crowds the same way, because I've gone through all of this. That's why I understand that. But not anything wrong with you. You're just going through a healing process and remembering. This could take days or months. And you're saying, what is going on with me? You're feeling exhausted. You might be overthinking about everything and losing patience with people. This is the messy part where you feel like you've lost yourself. It's your old identity going through a glitch out in the matrix, right? Because your nervous system hasn't yet learned how to integrate the new energy. You're not lazy. You're not crazy. You're not broken. You're actually just upgrading. But no one teaches us what this looks like. That's why maybe when you feel like you're tired and you sleep, but you're still exhausted, you're just in energetic recovery. You're not actually tired, and you've been fighting that old reality. And now it's time to release that old reality and align with that highest version of yourself in its fullest expression of who they are, authentic expression. Your vibration is not off. You're no longer abandoning yourself to make others feel comfortable. So it's like, why do I feel like I don't know who I am anymore? Well, because you're no longer doing the same choices. You're making choices that are more aligned with yourself. And that means that mask is coming off, and we have multiple masks that we wear, and you're in between versions of yourself. Stop trying to fix yourself. There isn't a problem. It's just passing through and letting that old version of you die and letting go of the judgments and the shame. And a great thing during this time is to use meditation. Okay, you can use guided meditation if it's easier for you to get into it. But meditation, I feel like, essential in this part where you're letting go of that old self. Taking walks, doing breath or body work to get out of your head back into your body. See, the matrix cuts us off from our body. That's where our intuition lives. That's where your real self lives. And as you get connected back with your body, back with your nervous system, you're going to remember who you are. A great thing is to journal. Go back and ask, if I stop trying to go back to who I was, who do I want to become? What is this next version of myself, right? Starting to align with that vision of that version of yourself, that new version coming online in a vibration. So this is a part where you're becoming rewired. Your nervous system is rewiring, and you want to actually feel stable again when you step into this next version of yourself. And that will happen. So this is the process that you want to go through, is to create a safe space where you can connect back into your body, into your authentic self, into your intuition. And that takes a little bit of time. Meditation, journaling, walks, spending time with yourself, right? Because if your life is not what you like, it's no longer aligned, well, you're going to have to do things differently. You're not going to be able to behave the same way. You're going to have to shift how you're feeling, how you're thinking, and your actions to shift into this new version of yourself. So this exercise I'm going to share with you is something I do daily in order to really align with my highest frequency of who I am. And that's aligning with my vision for my life. And you might not know what your vision is for your life yet, but what about being in a loving, supportive relationship, having vibrant health, being on purpose with your work and what you're doing? You don't have to know the how. You just have to have a vision for the future and what you want to live. Even if the relationship you're in right now isn't showing up where you're feeling supported and nurtured, that doesn't mean that it can't shift right here, right now, right? See that vision, see the potential, see the possibility. If you don't have love right now in your life, then there is a potential and possibility, because all potentials and possibilities exist in the quantum field. It's unlimited potentials and possibilities that exist. You have to believe it exists in order to get to it. So one of the things that Neville Goddard speaks about and all the mystical people speak about is the vision, is using your creativity and your imagination. It's interesting because that's the first thing that they kill in us when we're children, right? Is seeing that creativity and that vision you want to create. What is it? Don't worry about the how. Putting that every day, right in the morning when you wake up and right before you go to bed, because that's the time when your brain is still in a theta brainwave state where you can override the conscious mind to go into the unconscious mind and rewrite the program. So you want to see that vision, that soul vision calling us to the next level, and assume it's already here. You want to be in the feeling as if it's already here. Why? Because nothing you're going to achieve outside of yourself is going to give you what you're looking for. You want that car, you want that job, you want that partner. It will be sustainable for a period of time till a week, 1 month, 6 months, we'll give it, okay? And then that illusion is gonna wear off and you're back to where you started, which is seeking things outside yourself, right? To get that feeling. Instead, we're gonna do something called frequency anchoring. Why? Because thoughts create potentials and possibilities, and we can collapse timelines through using frequency anchoring. So here's how we do it. In the morning or before you go to bed, you wanna tune into an elevated emotion, joy, gratitude, abundance, ecstasy. Feel it, experience it, engage all of your senses. Use sound, emotion, feeling, seeing, and you can put on your favorite playlist, something that can activate this also, and getting into the feeling and the energy of this to allow it to activate, right? We want to get to the feeling first before we actually have it, because this is the actual inner work, is getting to the feeling, and then it shows up in our external reality. But in the Matrix, we believe it's the other way around, and that's what they need to do to convince us to buy the perfume that they want, the car that they want, and all these things that we need to get the significance and the feelings, when actually we can just feel it as if it's already here. Okay, now the second part is essential. This is a part that most people forget, but just like we're not gonna leave our house without forgetting to brush our teeth, right? So we're doing physical hygiene, but what about energetic hygiene? We have to cut the cords, clear the clutter, and reset our field daily. So how we're gonna do this is, I see either scissors or just feeling my energy, cutting all these cords not connected to me, and filling my energy with a bright white light. And I say, I call back my power from this dimension and all dimensions, from anything or anyone that has taken it. I call it back. So that's something that I do daily. And remembering that, I also say anything that doesn't belong to me, I remove it from my energetic field now, in this dimension and all dimensions. So through that intention alone is what creates the field to shift. We can use sage, we can use salt baths, we can use whatever else we want to enhance the process, but through intention alone, that's all we need, because free will is all we need that we've been given. So I can clear my field just by setting an intention. So don't rush this. Embodiment is not perfection. It's not faking it. It's actually being consistent, and it's a frequency and vibration. So we're not going to use positive thinking to get there. We're going to use that anchoring exercise frequency to regularly align ourselves with that frequency. Every day you're becoming more of yourself. You're remembering more of yourself, and you already know who you are, remembering more of that. So drop in the comments, let me know where you are in this phase, and if you're going through a breakdown or a build up.